Hey guys, and welcome to Armchair Conversations with Rob. And for those who are driven crazy by silliness like glasses and tattoos on the face, here we go. Today I want to talk a little bit about being grateful, gratitude, um, and how some of the things that come with gratitude open up the doors for other things that come into your life. Because, a lot of times people will get on their armchair conversations and they'll talk about things like, um, how to overcome the bad stuff, how to uh, dig in deep to your personal stuff and work it out, how to change your life in 60 easy whatevers, and that's all cool and we're good with that. But I also want to kind of balance out the things that I say about digging into the stuff that you want to get rid of in your life and the things you want to change and the things about you that maybe could use some work because the picture of you and the reality of you are not the same thing. But I also want to talk about some of the things that are good and that make you feel good and that it's okay to feel, and how to maybe enhance those or use those things to build you. And today I want to talk a little bit about gratitude. Um, Sometimes when you wake up in the morning and you're tired, you don't feel good, you can absolutely turn your day around with some of the things that you're grateful for if you remind yourself of some of the things that you're grateful for, or that are going well in your life, or that are good in your life. Um, I find that gratitude is something that helps with turning a lot of things around. It's just what it does even to your brain. Being able to be grateful for something, having some sense of joy, finding a good thing in the day or in life or in something someone has said, can sometimes absolutely make the difference between what was a crappy day and what is become a better day. So, let's talk about it. Like, for example, there are days when I wake up and I'm tired and I don't feel good. We all have those days. We have days when we don't really want to get out of bed, when we wish our vacation was early or the weekend was early or it was already quitting time, yada, yada, yada. But one of the things I've noticed on days like that is if I give myself permission, and you have to give yourself permission, okay, to find something to laugh at, to have joy about, to appreciate, to take pride in if it's something that maybe I've done or accomplished, or to be happy for someone else. Something about the brain chemistry of that can sometimes shift the way you were feeling and change it into something different. Um, like, for example, how many times have you been pissed about something and somebody made you laugh? And even though maybe the thing was wrong, maybe you didn't like it, maybe it was something that, should have been, in your mind, punished in some way, you can't do it anymore because you're laughing now. And it's changed your state. And even though you know that it's something that maybe you need to address, you don't address it in the same vein as you did when you set out to take care of it. Um, that one in particular, a good hearty laugh does amazing things. Scientifically, there's some studies out about it changing your biochemistry in your brain just to laugh every day for some reason. And so I tie that into gratitude in the sense of being able to appreciate the fact that somebody made you laugh, or there was a funny joke, or you saw something that was entertaining, or a good piece of music. Because let's face it, folks, for me, music has been a really, really big factor in how my brain works, how my heart feels, the joy that I have in life. Uh, it has been amazingly helpful. And everybody has their own brand, and so you pick out the things that work for you. And the things that may work for you at 14 may not work for you at 23 or 43. And so it is okay to flex and change those things, but it is not okay not to learn to be grateful for the things that you have. There are a lot of people that have tremendous advantages in life and they're not grateful. Um, you know, it's almost like this, it's an expectation that somehow you deserve something that maybe you didn't earn. And not that you have to earn everything good, or an expectation that because you are who you are, that you get to have in deference to other people. Pet peeve, we'll talk about another time. But my point is, sometimes you have to, in order to change your state, turn around and look for the things that you're grateful about. You have to turn around and look at the bright side, as people say. Um, and I know that in some circles that's not popular. Um, Guess what? I don't care. It is something that is necessary to having a better life. And there are studies that show that positivity and learning to be appreciative and having good feelings affects your health. It definitely affects your wealth, because think about it. Who the hell wants to help somebody who's not grateful? Let's say you go out of your way to give someone a gift and they look at it and say, "Is this all you got me? Really? Really? Would you want to help that person again? Would you, if you were me, even let them have what you gave them in the first place?" I doubt it. Okay. So learning to be grateful is good for you, but it's also good for the person that you're appreciating. Um, a lot of times people need to hear it. They don't always get that. Um, I remember a long time ago, I was talking to a guy that I worked with back when I worked at the little place called Circuit City that I liked so much. And he was a new employee, and he was out there trying to learn the ropes. And a lot of the people who had already come before him had some experience and maybe were very efficient and good at what they do, were not very kind to him. They did not appreciate the fact that he was trying to learn and that he was going to make progress at some point, or that he even gave a damn, because there are people who just don't care about the job that they do. And we all know it, okay? And from retail all the way up through the corporate ladder structure, there are people that you like to deal with and people you don't, okay? So let's be honest about that. But back to my story. Um, it was years after the fact, and I was riding a bus, because I've ridden a bus for most of my life. And so it's natural for me to recognize a lot of people that I have seen on buses and in various places, because a lot of times the transit system in West Virginia, sometimes there's quite a lag time in between catching buses. It's not like a big city where buses run every 15 minutes. They have a particular schedule, and as it gets later in the day, that schedule gets wider and wider. But anyway, this gentleman that worked with me, I didn't even remember the guy, okay? But he certainly remembered me. And he made it a point to, and I'll preface this by saying I was having a really, really crappy day. I mean, I had been late. I had been waylaid. I had been treated badly by customers, because at this time I was working retail. I was, I didn't get to eat my lunch. I didn't have enough money to do something that was necessary to be done. I mean, anything that could have happened that day had happened to me. And so I'm sitting on this bus feeling, one, pity party, sorry for myself. Never should do that. Two, angry at the world, because how dare they treat me this way. Get over it. And then I happened to run into this gentleman, and he tapped me on the shoulder. What made it even more amazing was that at the time, sorry, no one will know who this is, luckily, he was intoxicated. Okay. But even in his inebriation, he was able to recognize me years after the fact and remember that out of all the people, he said, that were there that were supposed to help him, I was the only person who was actually kind to him and actually said good things to him. And he wanted to let me know that he appreciated me. Me being a sensitive guy, that was like a tearjerker moment for me, because at that time, all I needed was some validation. So let's bring it back around to gratitude. So please understand that sometimes when you're grateful to somebody for something, or you let them know you appreciate them, it might be exactly what they needed that day. it might be the only thing that they heard that day that was positive, because people love to put you on blast, as I've heard said and I say, but they don't always like to tell you what's good about you. And so you may be doing that person a favor, and believe it or not, it reciprocates, because as you see the joy and the good thing that you've done for someone else, it can also make you feel good. So this was a rant about gratitude. It really didn't have any structure. Oh well, you know what this is. Um, but I really do want to stress the fact that being able to be grateful for something will sometimes be a blessing to you and to others. The other thing that I found is useful about that is sometimes it opens the door to other things. There have been times when I've shown appreciation for something small, which has led a person to want to do something more for me, or a corporation or a company to want to do something more for me. Um, it has opened the doors to other things. Being grateful about what I have and trying to make the best of what I have has allowed people who are able to help me to see that and then grant me extra blessings, if you would, because of my attitude alone. Because, you know, one time I said if attitude was all it took, we'd all be famous. Well, sometimes it is all it takes. Not only to make your point for someone else to feel good, but also for you to feel good, and maybe to open the doors for other opportunities. Because how many times can you think of that maybe you weren't thinking about the fact that maybe your next potential employer was watching you, okay, somewhere out and about, when you felt like you could be, let's just say, unkind, or when you were out causing a scene at a restaurant or a store or with someone. um, Potential employer sees that, and guess what? You end up not getting that job, because when it comes across the person's desk, they say, "Oh, they live in such and such. I think I know that guy. That was that guy that was acting like an ass at the Quickie Mart." Okay. Um, Gratitude and having good behavior can open the doors for other things. Being able to be grateful sometimes is a test that some people of means use to gauge what people of not means, quote unquote, um, are going to get from them. I have had people to do things for me based on the fact that they watched me be a nice, kind person. So my point is to remember to be grateful for a lot of reasons. If you're self-centered, do it for what it does for you. Okay. And again, there's nothing wrong being self-centered depending on the context. Okay. But do it for what it does for you then. Okay. How it makes you feel good, how it opens your brain up to something more positive, how it opens the way for your creative juices to flow. If you are outwardly centered, extra curricularly centered, or whatever you want to call it, then do it for what it does for other people. Do it because that might be the best thing that person's heard that day, and you want to be responsible for that, which eventually comes back to fulfilling your own ego about being happy and feeling good about things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We all have an ego. I just want mine and everybody's I can touch to be healthy. Do it for what it does for other people. And if you are thinking of it in terms of wealth and opportunity, do it for what it may do for your career and for your life and for the opportunities it affords you, because somebody's always watching you. It doesn't mean that you should not be yourself, but somebody's always watching you. And you never know when a potential employer might remember you based on a good deed. I've gotten some jobs based on the fact that um, I was recruited based on my attitude by people that I didn't even know. And in sales, I learned to be just as appreciative of the person who was, and the retail people understand this, buying a stick of gum, messing up my average, as I was for the guy who was spending 60, 80, $100 sale. Because what I found is those dollar people eventually came back and bought two, and then five, and then 10, and then 20. And then next thing you know, they're your 60 and $100 people. And they're loyal to you because you appreciated everything that they did for you in terms of helping your business to grow. Anyway, just a rant. playing around. Wanted to get your attention with the tattoo and the glasses. And I hope that you appreciated the gist of this. Maybe get your juices flowing and give me some comments, some feedback. Do something, okay, and let me know what you think. In the meantime, thank you for sharing my armchair.